This is Gemara Nedarim Daf Lamed Dalid. All the learning for today's shir has been generously sponsored as an incredible schos refuah shlema for Avraham Tzvi ben Sarah, who is undergoing surgery on the day of this year on Monday. B'siyata d'shemaya Talmud Torah keneged kulam, the schos Torah of the entire Sibur learning the most incredible thing Torah each and every day should bring Avraham Tzvi ben Sarah to have an ultimately successful surgery, b'siyat, and a complete recovery, b'siyat dishmaya. We're holding on the bottom of Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, and we are quoting the din in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, "Umachzer lo yesavei dasai," and we were discussing yesterday. We focused on when one makes a neder of hana, specifically of food from another, and what that entails. And today we go a little bit more global, a little bit more general. What is the status of the neder hana that one makes towards another? So says the Gemara, Machzer lo yesavei dasai. The Mishnah said that you're allowed to return a lost item to someone, even though one has a neder hana from him, and turning his lost item is not considered benefiting that person. Explains the Gemara, Pligi bar Rav Ami v'Rav Asi. Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, about 10 lines on the bottom, we have a machlokes between Rav Ami and Rav Asi. Chad Amar lo yishanu al shenichsi machzir asurin al ba'al aveda. One holds that the only case in the Mishnah when you're allowed to return the lost item is only when the nichse of the machzir, again, it gets confusing with the names. So I'm going to be the machzir. I found this lost item, and you're going to be the Baal Aveda. You lost your trusty mug over here, and I am returning, or actually we should go back, and we should say you lost your hachseik. You got it yesterday for free, as we spoke about, and you lost it. So I'm returning your sefer to you. So says the Gemara, when is it allowed? When the nechsei of the machzir, when my properties are usher to you. You cannot get benefit from me. Therefore, when I return the item to you, is it called that I'm giving you benefit? No. Why? Because it's your item. It's not that I'm giving you a new sefer. This is your item. You lost it. I found it. So I'm returning something that is yours. So when my property is usher to you, I'm allowed to return it to you. However, when you are forbidden from me, and this is a big counterintuitive, so let's focus in. When you are not allowed to get, when I am not allowed to get benefit from you, when the next day of the Baal Aveda, when your estate is forbidden on me, on the Machzir, Loi, then I am not allowed to return to you. Why not? Why is me returning to you considered that I am benefiting for your property? Loi kamahadile, why? Kamahanya Pruta dirav Yosef. Because you are benefiting me. When I return your lost item to you, you are benefiting me. How? Because of Pruta dirav Yosef. Because when I return to you, what's going on? I am being oisek b'mitzvah. Oisek b'mitzvah, pater min ha-mitzvah. So when I am returning you your item, because you availed me this opportunity, you were so gracious that you lost your item. Now I'm returning it to you. That's called you're doing benefit to me, because now if an ani would come over to me, I would not have to give him money. Why not? Because I'm being Isaac and returning the item to you. I do not have to do another mitzvah. Therefore, it's considered you're doing benefit to me, and then I would not be allowed to return the lost items. That is one way of learning. The other opinion is no, even when your properties are forbidden to me, still mahadir I still can return it. But why? Aren't you benefiting me? Aren't you benefiting me in the fact that when I return to you, I don't have to give that ani, that poor man a pruta, the nechsei de Rav Yosef? You know why? Misham pruta de Rav Yosef, loy shchiach. It is not common in order to have this scenario that the moment I'm returning to you, at that precise moment, an ani is coming over to me, and at that precise moment, because I'm returning it to you, I'm now not going to have to give the ani the bruta. That is an uncommon case, says the Gemara, and therefore we do not deal with uncommon cases. So a machlokes between Rav Ami and Rav Asi how to apply the din in our Mishnah. Our Mishnah said you're allowed to return a lost Aveda. Is that only in the scenario when the Baal Aveda is not forbidden to the Machzir, but when you, the Baal Aveda, are forbidden to be the Machzir, I cannot return it? One opinion. Why? Because you are benefiting me that I don't have to give that bruta to the honey. The other opinion says, no, even in that case, you still can return it. Why? Because that is not a common scenario. Now, the truth is, if we get that machlok, it's clear that's really the entirety of today's daf. But let's move on. The top of Lamedal Aleph Tanan. We learned to the Mishnah, which is going to be a kasha. What did our Mishnah teach us? Our Mishnah said, in a place that they pay when someone returns lost items, that payment, that money should go to hektish. So now articulates the Gemara. The second opinion that we just quoted, that even when you, the Baal Aveda's property is forbidden to me, the Machzir, still I'm allowed to return it. Why? Am I not benefiting the fact I don't give that ani a bruta? The answer is I am, but it's not common, so we don't deal with that. That's what we learn. Now it makes a lot of sense that we said that in a place in which they generally pay for the lost item, that money should go to Hektish. Why? Because since the Mishnah is discussing a case where neither person could benefit the other, meaning it includes also the case when you, the Baal Aveda, are forbidden from me. So now I understand that if we're in a place that you pay for returning the Aveda, where should the payment go? Oh, it can't go to me, it can't go to you. Boom, goes to Hektish. But according to the first opinion that we just quoted, that when you, the Baal Aveda, is forbidden to me, the Machzir, I'm not allowed to return your item. I'm not allowed to return your items because consider that I'm benefiting if that moment an ani would come to me. I would not have to pay him. So why would the hana have to go to Hektish? We can't find the scenario that there's going to be a payment that we cannot take. Because either it's mutter to take the money, or it's us to return the item. So where is this middle ground scenario that I can return the item but I can't take the cash, according to the man the Amr that says we're not discussing this case of when the Baal Aveda is forbidden to the Machzir? Answers the Gemara, the classical teretz, perhaps a bit of a cop-out, achada katani, that the Mishnah is only one-sided. It's referring only to one of the cases. So now, we have a second way of learning that which we just said. We are 10 lines down, Lamedalid Amud Aleph. Pliga bar Rav Ami Rav Asi. One says that the whole case of the Mishnah is only when is it allowed to be returned? When is it allowed to be returned? When you, the Baal Aveda, is yes forbidden unto me. Why are you allowed to return it? Because we don't deal with cases which are not common. Aval. Here's the new detail. When the nechzei machzir, when I am forbidden to you, asur al Baal Aveda, then loy mehaderle. Why? And this is perhaps in the very simplistic mindset. As we said in case A, it's a little counterintuitive. This is more of the intuitive way of thinking. That if I am forbidden to you, I can return your lost item. Why? Because I'm benefiting you. What do you mean I'm benefiting you? It's your item. As we said, that this Seals Yisharim is yours. Correct, it's yours. I'm still benefiting you because you lost it. And I'm returning it to you. So that mandam is going to hold that scenario. You can't return it. And the other man there knows still mutter. Why? Because you're returning to him his own items. This is the second way of learning the aforementioned machlokes. Asks the Gemara, Tanan. We learned to the Mishnah. I'm sorry, we lost our highlighter. There it is. Tanan. What did the Mishnah say in the place that you give a schar should go to hektish? So Asurin al balaveda, the exact same question. If you're including the case where I'm forbidden to you, I'm still allowed to be mahader. Why am I allowed to be mahader? This is the second opinion. Why? Because it's called I'm not returning anything. Why am I not returning anything? This is your Mesilas Yesharim that you lost. Because it's yours, that's why. So now it makes a lot of sense. That's where it says that in that scenario, then what? If they pay for the returning of an object, where will the payment go? The payment will go to Hektish. But according to the first mandamer, that said, that when I am forbidden to you, I cannot give you back your Mesilas Yesharim. Why not? Because I'm benefiting you. Why am I benefiting you? It's yours, because I'm returning it to you. So what are you going to do with this place that you normally play? The payment should go to Hektish. What do you mean the scenario doesn't exist? Says the Gemara Kasha, that is indeed a question. We turn over to Lamedalim Abayz, a short Amid. Doesn't mean it's a simple Amid. Obviously, in the Pashib shot, perhaps we're going to try to make it as simple as possible. As always, as everyone can see from the lengthy rounds, there's really a lot more that meets the eye over here. But let's get to it. Says the Gemara, Omar Rava. Says Rava, Haisa lefanav kikar shel hektish. If someone has in front of him a loaf of bread of hektish, it belongs to no one. V'amar. And he says, Kikar zu hektish. There's this loaf of bread, there's an item lying in front of me, it belongs to no one. I say, this item is hektish. No la la eichla mal. If after you say that, you go and you take it, you're over on mi'ila. Why are you over on mi'ila? Excuse me, not la eichla ma'al lefi kula. You're over on mi'ila with the entire item. The entire item was belonging to the hektish, and you went and you eat it. That's a classical case of deconsecrating, of utilizing a holy item, a hektish item, for mundane purposes. Utilizing this item which now belongs to hektish for yourself, and therefore you're transgressing me'ilah. But if you take this loaf of bread to inherit it, to bequeath it to one's children, then you're only over Me'ilah, not in the entirety of the item, because you're not getting a direct benefit of the item. Rather, you're only over in Me'ilah for the value of the item that you would be able to give it away to someone else. Why? Is because that's the value that you got. What do you mean? Because I didn't actually eat the loaf of bread. I bequeathed it to someone else. I gave it away. So the hana that I get, the pleasure in giving away this loaf of bread, that is the dollar amount of me'ilah that I just transgressed. So, and this was a little bit of a random, almost a memra of Rava. And the Ran over here points out, the Ran Lohirisha, the Ran points out that really this is a completely random din. But says the Ran in the second wine line, you know we're bringing it down over here because it's similar to the Shaila that we're about to discuss. So we bring down this din of Rava. Okay, bit random, but let's get to the next Shaila. We're just going to start this. We're not going to be able to conclude it, but let's begin. Asks Rav Chia bar Avin, Ki Meirav. Ki kari olecha. If someone says, my loaf, here's this loaf of bread, before it was hektish, now it's mine, I say, my loaf is forbidden to you. And then, v'nasla v'matana. And then he gave it to him as matana. Ma'u, what is the din? Does the fact that I give it to you now make it that you could, yes, have benefit, or no? Maybe it's usher to you, I gave it to you, we still can't benefit from it. So how do we view an item which I said is forbidden to you, and then I go and transfer ownership of it to you? And now, explains the Gemara, Kikari Amar Loi. What did he say? He said, my loaf. So ki isa bershu seyu de aser. It's only forbidden when it's my loaf. But once I gave it to you, it's not my loaf anymore. Now it's mutter. That's one side of the coin. Or perhaps alecha amar le. I said my loaf is forbidden to you. What does that mean? That means with regard to you, from your vantage point, this loaf of bread is like hektish. You can never get benefit from it. So ask the Gemara, from Rava, what is the status of this loaf of bread in which I said you cannot get benefit, and then subsequently I go and I give you that loaf of bread. So Amar Lei, Rava responds, Pshita, is it obvious? The afal gav, the avilei b'matana? Also, it's forbidden. You cannot get benefit from him, from that loaf of bread. El kikari olechel afuki mai. So why do you say kikari? Why do you say my loaf? Which seemingly indicated only while it's my loaf, when it's your loaf, you can yes get benefit. My lav lafuke ti ganva minei mignav. You know what he means to say? Does he mean to say that it's mine, that if it gets stolen, it's my field, it got stolen? It didn't. So how do we understand this? Amar le'loi lafuke di mizamni Allah. You know what it comes to mean? It comes to mean that if someone else was invited over to his house, then he cannot eat from this loaf of bread. And the truth is, we're really going to have to delve a little bit deeper into this loaf of bread in tomorrow's shir. So we're going to leave it at this. We'll reread this last shaila that we just posed, the last teretz. We'll pick it up from here in the next shir. B'siyata dishmaya.